Okay, and the short talk is by Emiel again.
So hello again. I just wanted to take the opportunity to talk about stuff I've been reading up on because I think it's an interesting topic to discuss. I guess it's about generalizing secure compilation criteria um, to envelop more concepts that are floating out around in the wild. So the current, I think, state of the art is the excellent paper by all these people, some of which are present. The Journey Beyond Full Abstraction, which has a framework of all kinds of properties, but there's some things that are not yet considered, and we the place we are currently in our work is trying to collect all these things in the wild that should fit into the next framework, I guess. And the first thing is probabilistic arities. We call them arities, so that means do you look at one program, pairs of programs, sequences of programs, or probabilistic programs, or sequences of probabilistic programs, which is the crypto way to do it. And they show, for example, up in work by Abadi and Plotkin on a secure compiler for layout randomization, and in universal composability and cryptography. So that's work we would definitely want to take up into this idea. Then there's also the question of how you solve having two different arities. So for example, again, the work by Plotkin and Abadi on layout randomization, which comes from a perfectly memory safe idea to needing the layout randomization to solve this. So this is a non-probabilistic setting to a probabilistic setting. And the same for, again, the work by Abadi and Rogoway, which creates a secure compiler from symbolic cryptography to computational cryptography to show that there's some things you can just reason about in the symbolic domain. There's also other things we have been thinking about which we think fit into the RHP framework without too much effort, but haven't necessarily been considered, security games, which are just robust property preservations of individual programs instead of whole sets of programs, and things like reduction proofs in computability theory and cryptography and in complexity theory. Okay, so our goal is to make a general framework that covers all these examples, and specifically, we'll have to compromise on these things probably, but no shoehorning. So this means the parameters of the framework should feel natural, and the security and the semantics should stay split. We don't want it to be overly general because, then we're not really saying anything useful anymore. And we hope to establish these connections with cryptography and computability theory and language expressiveness in a deeper way. So I just present the idea we have right now, which is still deeply flawed. So you have RHP, which has this robust preservation of behavior, and you have RHC, the back translation or reduction version of this, I'd say. And the idea is just to abstract some of these constructs. So, for example, the behavior would be, for example, for the crypto case, you don't want exact behavior equality, but you want computational indistinguishability. So your behavior function would map not to behavior, but to the quotient domain of where the equivalent sets are computationally indistinguishable traces. Or in the case of computability, you wouldn't your behavior. So then let me maybe not run away. So that's why we would modify these functions, but then we are very much mixing security properties and behavior. So that's maybe we can just pull them apart into two functions, but we're still thinking about better solutions for that. And then there's also parameterizing over the linking behavior. So not just looking at programs with a whole, but for example, in the case of computability theory, you would have a language and a recognizer. where then the function would just map on, does the language recognize the language. Or for example, it might also be interesting, for example, in security games, it's a defender first kind of framework where the security game can go first, and then it gives like the opportunity to the attacker to do things, but it can first set up its security, I guess. So this is like the thing we had in mind for the moment. And the nice thing is that's something that's also like hopefully, if we succeed in this, preserved, is that there's also a property list, or at least some kind of back translation reduction kind of way of talking about framework. But there's still, well, some shortcomings like semantics and security that are not split. The linking operator should also maybe be functorial in the arity, in the sense that, like, if you have a context linking with a pair of programs, then it links with each of the pairs of programs, and then this should be worked out and things like that. So these were like the ideas we had, and I'm interested to hear like opinions and things like that.
Okay, thank you, Emiel. So we do have time for opinions even before lunch or questions. To me, it seems nice to bring probabilities into the picture. It was something we haven't tried in our previous work.
Yeah, I think it's a very high-level question.
That's a high level.
But I mean, I'm just wondering where you draw. So you say that at some point, right? You don't want to be too general.
Yes.
I'm just wondering if you have some ideas on where to draw the line.
I guess I think I didn't say it, but I put it in the presentation somewhere. Yeah. So the core ideas of like robust property preservation and of reduction proofs need to be preserved in some way. If you don't like have a universal quantor over your attackers anymore, then well, you're not really doing secure compilation anymore. So I guess that's already a good line to draw. And then maybe like this correspondence between the property free and the property less thing, because a lot of the things I presented show up in the wild only as reduction proofs, not at robust preservation. So having this connection seems also like something that you can't lose, I think.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I guess we'll take this over lunch and talk more there.
Okay.
Thank you.